You won't be rich with strangers. Someone else's stuff won't work, says the proverb, which also applies to this terrible story of the bloody diamond. An innocent stone in the shape of a heart took dozens of lives with it, from kings to heroes of the real Titanic. We've heard a lot of stories about infamous jewels. Who would have thought that owning a harmless blue stone could lead to death and misfortune? Consider it a coincidence, but we will tell the story of one of the most beautiful necklaces in the world of cinema. In the Titanic, it is called the heart of the ocean, but this is only a prototype of the Hope Diamond, which was named after one of its owners. Yes, the stone was stolen by the French merchant Jean-Baptiste Tavernier, who is known for his travels to India. There he bought diamonds, then returned to Europe and sold the finds that made him famous all over the world for several times more expensive. During one of his expeditions on the way to Persia, he decided to get to India in Golconda, whose lands are rich in diamonds. Not far from the fortress, there was a temple of the god Rama, inside which there was a statue of the goddess Sita, whose left eye was decorated with a large blue stone. Tavernier couldn't resist the brilliance of the stone and shamelessly took it with him. We don't know if the merchant had heard the backstory of this eye. Perhaps then he would have been afraid to steal the diamond. It turned out that before it was inlaid into a sacred statue, sacrificial rituals were performed with it, and human and animal blood was shed on it. According to legend, after the theft, the monks cursed the stone. That's when the misfortunes began in the lives of all its owners. Nevertheless, Tavernier's conscience tormented him, and he decided to get rid of the captivating diamond weighing 115 carats. The merchant presented it as a gift to the French king Louis XIV, mixing the jewel with 24 other diamonds in the casket. The ruler appreciated the generous gift and ordered that Jean-Baptiste be given a noble title. The king gave the stone to a jeweler, who divided it into smaller ones. The largest one was set in a heart-shaped frame and presented to a favorite at court. No matter how much the merchant wanted to get rid of the cursed stone, the appropriate fate awaited him for theft. In one of his travels, as legend has it, Tavernier was eaten by dogs and buried somewhere unknown, perhaps even in Russia. The fate of the French king was also sad. He took the jewelry from his favorite. The lady stopped pleasing him. Louis XIV had put a blue diamond in his doublet, so now misfortune had to haunt him. So, while hunting, he fell off his horse and died of gangrene of his leg. After his death, the jewel was transferred into the possession of Marie Antoinette, who was skeptical of the jewelry's reputation and did not believe all the dark stories around it. As you probably already know, she was executed and beheaded. But was the stone involved? There has always been prejudice around the person about her sad outcome. To begin with, the birth of the mother of the future queen turned out to be very difficult and almost led to her death. And in the year of Tanya's birth, as little Marie Antoinette was affectionately called in the family, a major earthquake occurred in Lisbon, which took with it the lives of many people. All these were considered bad signs in the fate of a newborn girl. Therefore, the question of the walking curse can be postponed. But here's what's interesting. One day, Marie Antoinette lent a heart-shaped jewelry to a friend of Madame de Lamballe, and she was killed a few days later. After the execution of Marie Antoinette, the diamond had no permanent owner for a long time, until it fell into the hands of the Irish banker Hope. He named the blue stone after himself, which may have saved him. Hope turned out to be the first person to avoid a cruel reckoning. However, difficult times came in his life. Hope went bankrupt, which forced him to sell the jewelry to Sultan Abdul Hamid II of the Ottoman Empire. He dreamed of giving the jewel to his wife, but she did not receive a magnificent gift. The girl was killed by rapists and enemies of the Sultan. Abdul Hamid II himself survived several assassination attempts and was exiled. The stone, with a bad reputation, was in the hands of both Russian princes and a married couple, whose story later became the basis of the film Titanic. He ended up in the hands of a socialite and the owner of one of the most luxurious jewelry boxes in history, Evelyn McLean. The lady knew about the curses of the diamond, so she took it to the church. But this, alas, did not save her from misfortune. Her husband got drunk, her daughter committed suicide, and her son was hit by a car. The woman refused to believe in the power of hope, so after her death, she bequeathed the jewelry to her granddaughter, who lived for only 25 years. The jewel is now kept at the Smithsonian Institution in one of the museums. It was bought by the famous American jeweler Harry Winston, but he did not try his luck. He presented the blue stone to the Institute in 1958, ending its curses forever.